Hold up, because Drake really woke up and decided he was dropping not one, not two, but three whole projects in the same night. Of course you had ICEMAN, then Maid of Honor, and then the other one, I'm probably saying this wrong too, Habibity or whatever it's called. Now listen, I had no clue he was about to hit people with 3 albums at once, but hey, they are officially here now. And girl, Drake absolutely came outside taking shots at everybody. I'm talking about Mo Dixon, Jay-Z, DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, A$AP Rocky, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Smack, and probably a bunch of other fans still catching bars right now because these lyric breakdown pages are moving at lightning speed. And let's be real for a second. People are out here pretending they fully processed 3 entire Drake albums overnight like that's even possible. But alright, let's get into some of these lines because this man was talking crazy. When he addressed Jay-Z, he said something along the lines of, "I'll take the $500K instead of the dinner because I was never trying to learn from y'all anyway." Then he followed it up basically saying, "Y'all were really out there island hopping back then, huh? Now certain names are getting removed from paperwork." And I ain't gonna lie, that line immediately had people screaming fact check online. Then Drake kept going and basically said, "Y'all always running to Hav for second opinions, while I stood tall on my own and accepted the mission." Then he added another jab saying, "We already know how the OGs move. Over here though, the act is over." Then when he turned towards Rick Ross, Drake said, "Doug, I was basically Aiden Ross before Aiden Ross even started streaming." Then he slid over to DJ Khaled and said something like, "Khaled, you know exactly what I mean. The beef was active and you suddenly switched your whole energy." Then he followed that up with a political style line talking about people still waiting on a free Palestine while saying everything isn't always black, white, red, and green. Now, he also made references to dudes running phones from inside prison, and then doubled back again to that Jay-Z second opinion angle and all that type of stuff. J. Cole caught a few more subtle shots too. Drake basically said he and Cole used to be genuinely close, but after Cole stepped away from the battle, he never really reached back out again. So I'm sitting there like, yeah, there were definitely a lot of little sneak jabs hidden throughout this project. And listen, I gotta keep it completely real right now, bro. One thing that immediately stood out to me was on that opening track where Drake revealed his father is currently battling cancer. He basically said, "My pops is fighting cancer. We are battling right now." So first and foremost, prayers up to his father because that is way bigger than rap or music drama. Seriously, sending strength and prayers to his family because that's an incredibly difficult situation to deal with. Now separate all of that from the music conversation for a second. When it comes strictly to the songs themselves, let's keep it honest. Some of these tracks actually had a vibe to them.
I heard the one with Future on there and I thought that track was hard. Then he had that West Coast style record too, and I can't even lie, that beat started growing on me after a minute. I started catching on to the flow a little more the longer it played. But at the same time, there was just so much being said across these albums that it's impossible to fully process every bar in one sitting. Still though, that particular record definitely had some energy to it. Then there was another track where he started throwing shots at A$AP Rocky too. People online saying Drake basically hinted that Rocky's own girl didn't even post his single or support the rollout like that. Then he went to DJ Mustard too, saying something like, "You haven't really had one since me and YG." But listen to this part carefully because this is where things started standing out to me the most. Hearing Drake directly respond to bars Kendrick Lamar said on Not Like Us was honestly wild. I'm talking full rebuttals. He was directly addressing lyrics point by point instead of brushing them off. And at that stage, I'm sitting there like, bro, Drake can live however he wants because he's a grown man and nobody controls another man's life. But when you're out here laying guns on the ground outside your mansion in videos and continuing to throw shots at LeBron James, yeah, you clearly still feel a way about everything that happened. And honestly, I don't think everybody involved took this battle as personally as Drake did. I think Drake looks at the whole situation like the things Kendrick Lamar said about me actually stuck with the public. Because let's keep it real for a second. Nobody wants those types of accusations attached to their name at all. Nobody wants to be labeled things like that in front of the entire world. At the end of the day though, they were in a rap battle. Kendrick Lamar saw an opening and smelled blood in the water. That's what rap battle becomes sometimes. You start digging for dirt. And Kendrick probably already knew Drake was willing to go low with the disses. So Kendrick's mindset was probably like, all right then, if you're going there, I'm going even lower. And let's not rewrite history either, because Drake definitely took things to a very dark place too. This man was out here saying Kendrick's child might not even be his. Then on The Heart Part 6, Drake even started touching on extremely personal topics involving possible abuse rumors and things of that nature too. So it's like both sides really crossed lines during that battle. The difference is Kendrick's records connected harder with the public. They were catchier, the timing was perfect, and honestly, I don't think Drake expected Kendrick Lamar to execute at that level. I genuinely believe he underestimated him. But now listening to parts of this new material, it almost feels like Drake is still trying to fight the same war all over again. And the question becomes, how long are we going to stay in this space? Now, of course, I expected Drake to throw some shots. Of course, I expected some disses and little rebuttals. That part doesn't surprise me at all. I'm not saying he shouldn't respond or speak his mind, but a lot of the energy I'm hearing from these albums feels like, yeah, I'm still mentally stuck in that same place from 2 years ago. That's just me keeping it completely honest from what I've heard so far. And remember, I haven't even fully listened to every project front to back yet. I skimmed through a lot of it. I'm not about to sit here and act like I fully dissected every bar overnight because people online are doing that way too fast. But a lot of the clips and lyrics circulating right now are centered around the Kendrick Lamar shots because that's what everybody immediately runs to. Those are the lines people are reposting. Those are the clips blogs are promoting. And let's be real, controversy absolutely helps move albums too. It keeps people debating, it keeps social media active, it keeps the conversation alive. So naturally, the disses are gonna dominate the discussion first. But I still haven't completely processed the full albums yet. What I will say though is the amount of time Drake spends going back at Kendrick after it felt like the Heart Part 6 was basically waving the white flag caught me off guard a little bit. That's honestly the vibe I got from listening to everything. It feels like this battle genuinely still bothers him deep down. Love really bothers him. And I think a lot of other people viewed the situation more like, bro, it was just a rap battle. Meanwhile, Drake seems to have taken it much more personally than everybody else involved. Then once you add in the lawsuits and court conversations on top of that, it's like, all right, where exactly do we even go from here now? Then you got the Jay-Z references too. The whole Epstein file conversation has been floating around the internet for a while because people online have constantly brought up alleged business connections and rumors tied to that situation. So when Drake mentioned taking the $500K instead of the dinner, people instantly started connecting it back to all those internet discussions. And listen, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Drake didn't even need to say that line because I'm taking the $500K too. Even Jay-Z himself once joked about taking the money over the dinner, so let's stop acting like people wouldn't pick the cash. Just keep it real for a second. Now, when it comes to that Rick Ross line about Aiden Ross and streaming, that was actually layered wordplay if you really listen to it closely. Drake was basically saying he and Ross were putting up huge streaming numbers before Aiden Ross ever became known for streaming content online. And to be fair, let's pop it honestly, Drake and Ross absolutely made some massive records together over the years. These dudes had chart-climbing songs that really moved the culture. In my personal opinion, outside of Stay Schemin', tracks like Dice Pineapples, Aston Martin Music, and even Made Men were all hard too. Now, some of those songs came out before streaming completely took over the music industry, but they still had plenty of collaborations together regardless. At the same time though, Ross is still Ross at the end of the day. Say whatever you want about him, Rick Ross built a catalog that speaks for itself. Rick was going to be successful regardless of whether Drake was attached to records or not. Now yes, some of those collaborations probably became top-tier streaming records because Drake naturally pulls insane numbers anytime he drops music. And let's be real here, everybody already knew Drake was going #1 before these albums even released. He could have dropped this project 2 years ago. He could have dropped it 3 months after the Kendrick battle. It still would have gone crazy numbers-wise because anytime Drake releases something, the internet immediately reacts. But listen to this, I honestly think Drake is way more focused on the public narrative and perception surrounding that battle than anything else. I think that's why he keeps revisiting it in the music. Now, we just gotta sit back and see how everything plays out moving forward, bro. And honestly, I don't even think J. Cole is trying to stay involved in this conversation anymore, since he already moved on and dropped his own album. Me personally, I don't even want this whole situation dragging on much longer at this point. Drake should just focus on making hits, putting out music, and running the charts back up. Because once we start mixing diss records with lawsuits and court situations, it's like, alright bro, what are we really doing here now? But let me know what y'all think about all of it. I'll definitely come back with a deeper breakdown because I want to really sit with these albums properly before giving a full honest review. This is a massive amount of music to process all at once, and I'm not about to fake a complete reaction overnight just for clicks.